Episode 38. Pressure Points. The hold learned how to breathe again. Not evenly, not calmly, but enough. People stopped watching the seams every second. Conversations returned in fragments. Low voices, careful tones. Fear dulled into something heavier, something that sat in the chest instead of the throat. The child clung to their mother now, fingers knotted into fabric, refusing to look anywhere else. No one tried to separate them again. Not yet. Lyra stood with her jaw set, blood dried dark along her cheek. She hadn't spoken since the strike. She didn't need to. The heat behind her eyes hadn't faded, only banked. Kaelen stayed close, posture relaxed in the way only predators understood, stillness that promised violence if the wrong line was crossed. Malik shifted his weight once, then planted himself, arms crossed, spine straight. The muscle wasn't wasted on tension. It was stored. Everlyn watched them all. She watched the civilians first, the way exhaustion made people careless, the way fear reorganized itself into habits. She watched who spoke and who listened, who moved when someone else did. The hold hadn't stabilized. It had simply settled into a pattern the system found acceptable. That was worse. Across the ship, Kaelen stood perfectly still. The workspace hadn't changed since she'd been brought in. Tools remained where they were. The table remained unused. The human in the corner hadn't moved more than a step since the door sealed. No one rushed. No one threatened. That told Kaelen everything she needed to know. They weren't reacting. They were waiting. Kaelen let her breathing slow until it matched the hum beneath the floor. Not on purpose, by instinct. The wolf blood helped, but discipline did most of the work. She let her posture soften by a fraction. Let them log her as compliant. Everlyn felt the shift through the link. Not a voice, not a command. Awareness tightening. Kaelen sent a controlled impression back. They're not in a hurry. That means this stage isn't urgent. Everlyn absorbed it. In the hold, a man raised his voice. Not shouting, complaining, about the lack of water, about the silence, about how long they'd been here. It wasn't anger. It was erosion. Everlyn watched the ripple spread. A few nods. A few murmurs. Agreement forming without structure. That was how alignment began. She didn't intervene. She watched how the field responded. It didn't. Not yet. Kaelen's door opened without warning. Not violently, just opened. A Xarthian stepped inside alone. No weapon raised. No posture shift. Working. It didn't look at Kaelen immediately. It checked a panel on the wall instead. Symbols shifted. Data confirmed. Then it turned toward the human in the corner. Gestured. The human flinched, then stepped forward too quickly, fear breaking discipline. The Xarthian corrected the pace with a single touch to the chest. Not a strike, a reminder. The human slowed. Kaelen didn't move. Didn't look at the human. Didn't react. Everlyn felt the tension spike through the link. Kaelen sent a thin thread of observation. They're separating individuals even here, testing responses. In the hold, a woman began praying aloud. Not loudly, just enough for others to hear. Another joined in. Everlyn watched the pack. Lyra didn't react. Kaelen didn't shift. Malik's jaw tightened once, then released. They were learning restraint. The field pulsed faintly. A warning, not a punishment. Prayer stopped. Silence returned. Kaelen watched the Xarthian lead the human out. The door sealed again. The room didn't change. That was the point. Absence was information. Kaelen sent another impression. Movement is selective. They remove variables, not problems. Everlyn felt it settle. The system wasn't responding to danger. It was pruning unpredictability. In the hold, the Xarthians returned. Fewer this time. Not a sweep. A correction. They walked the perimeter slowly, scanning, measuring, deciding. No one was taken immediately. That was intentional. They wanted the room to anticipate selection. Everlyn felt the pressure rise. This was where people broke. Not when something happened, but when they waited for it to happen. A teenager shifted too fast. The field reacted instantly, not a full neutralization. A sharp pulse that dropped him to one knee, gasping, enough to remind everyone where the line was. Kane's body tensed. Malik leaned forward half an inch, Everlyn's hand lifted slightly. Not for them. For the room. The pack held. Across the ship, Kaelen noticed something new. A vent overhead cycled. Airflow changed, temperature shifted briefly, then corrected. Not random. Timed. She mapped it mentally, counting the seconds between changes. She sent it through the link. Airflow cycles, predictable, not synced to guards. Everlyn felt the first true shape of a weakness form. Not a door, not a field, timing. In the hold, the Xarthians stopped moving. One of them turned its head slightly, listened, then they left. No selections, no explanation, just gone. The hold didn't erupt, it sagged. Relief flooded people too fast, too strong. Everlyn knew better. Relief was dangerous. Kaelen stood alone in the workspace, posture unchanged, eyes lowered, breathing steady. She had learned something the Xarthians hadn't intended. They didn't monitor constantly. They sampled, which meant there were gaps. Everlyn felt the understanding lock into place. Not yet, not now, but soon. The hold was still intact. Kaelen was still inside the machine. And now they both understood the same thing. The system didn't break under force. It broke under mistimed certainty. Everlyn lowered her gaze and let the room believe nothing had changed. Because everything had.